Yeah, congrats to Navy. Like I talked about after the game, they got a really good team. I went back and looked at it this morning. They've won 14 of their last 16. They're 14-2 in their last 16 games, dating back the last two seasons. And one of those losses came to Notre Dame, who played for a national championship. The other one came to Tulane. So outside of that, they hadn't lost a game in 16 tries. And you can tell they know how to win. They've got a lot of seniors. The quarterback's a terrific player. Disappointed in the way we played out of halftime more than anything. I thought we played well in the first half, well enough to be competitive. They gave us a couple gifts, and we took advantage of some turnovers. But ultimately, didn't score in the third quarter, and they scored 21 points, and it was over. When you give up a two-score lead to a team like that, and they start jumping on you a little bit, it was going to be tough to come back. And I was proud of the way we fought at the end. We got a 4th-and-2 stop. We never stopped trying to score. I'm trying to teach our kids how to fight and how to finish games, and we needed Baylor to get all the reps he could. So I'm proud of the way we did finish the game in the fourth quarter. But the third quarter absolutely gutted us. And right there before the half, a minute and a half, and they go right down the field and score, gutted us as well. So we could have been, up at half, 17-14, and we weren't. We ended up being down. With the pass interference call down there on third down. Got some tough calls, and we didn't take advantage of the opportunities, and we had them. But ton of respect for that team. Coach Newberry does a great job, and utmost respect for the Navy and our military. What those kids do during the day and after they graduate is really impressive. And can't say enough good things about their program. We're not there yet. They're there. They've been established, and they know what they're doing. The big thing we're missing right now offensively is chunk plays more than anything. I mean, we're missing a 40 or 50-yard touchdown. We haven't had one in the passing game. I like where we're running the football, 180 yards a game. I'll take that against some good opponents. And then the passing game, we're getting a lot of completions. We're just not getting chunk plays. And we threw the ball deep 11 times last week and did not come down with one of them. So really disappointed in our ability to throw the football down the field right now. We got to find some playmakers quickly, or it's going to be a long season because people are going to stack the box and take away the underneath stuff. We've got to be able to push the ball down the field. And you do that, and you're probably averaging an extra 10 points a game. And, we didn't get it against New Mexico State. We didn't get it against Navy. And really hadn't seen a ball caught down the field other than Micah T's couple against Abilene Christian. But that's what we worked hard on last week, and we didn't get it done again, so we'll work on it again today and yesterday. Defensively, did not play well against Navy. Let's just call a spade a spade. Didn't tackle well. Their quarterback ran all over, so we couldn't get off the field on third down. Tried a lot of different stuff, and none of it worked. And they were better than us. They had a better plan than us, and they executed at a higher level than we did defensively. And a lot of the reasons I went for it on fourth down as much as I did is because we weren't getting very many stops, and I knew our possessions were going to be limited. Probably should have punted on the 4th and 7 because we didn't get it, but analytics there, it was 4th and 9 or less go. So we went for it and did not execute, did not protect the quarterback, and they got after us a little bit. Thought we got exposed on the O-line at times in pass pro. Again, we got to be able to hold on to the ball a little bit, push the ball down the field. On to Oklahoma State, great respect for this program. Big game for our city, big game for our university, our alumni, for bragging rights. These guys have had 2 games against a lesser opponent in UT Martin, and then Oregon, who I think is the best team in the country. I watch a lot of football. Texas, Ohio State, Oregon. I think Oregon's got better quarterback play right now, and Oregon had them outmatched, and they played a great game and a complete game, and Oklahoma State turned it over a couple times, and it kind of got away from them. But Oregon's really good. I mean, it's hard to watch how good they are. They got players everywhere, and they're doing a good job, and they play hard. So, Coach Gundy, can't wait to get to go against him on ESPN on Friday night. Got really a lot of respect for Coach. Probably one of the most, if not the most underrated coach of my generation, of my lifetime. I would say him and Bill Snyder are probably two of the guys that come to mind when you think of doing the most at where they've been. 9 and 10 win seasons consistently, changing in coordinators, quarterbacks, and Mike Gundy just finds a way to win games. And really, really look up to him as a mentor in our industry. And, after we play, I'd love to pick his brain and learn from him. I think he does a phenomenal job. And they got a whole new staff and a whole new team, and they're kind of finding their way out right now, a lot like we are. What's our identity? How do we get the ball down the field? Who's the best playmaker to throw it to? Defensively, do we have the right corners on the field? Do we have the right nickel package? They're going through a lot of the same conversations we are. I know he talked about simplifying after that Oregon game, and we're kind of doing the same. Like, what are our 3 best runs? What are our best formations? How do we get our guys in position to be successful? I think we're doing that, but we are still finding our way a little bit. We got to find our playmakers, and we're going to try to do that this Friday. Questions?
Since you moved to town in December, what have you learned about football in the state of Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's Bedlam's important. I'll say that. Being from Georgia, the Georgia-Florida rivalry, Auburn-Alabama, Georgia-Tennessee, Tennessee-Alabama, Georgia-Georgia Tech, like those are the ones I grew up around, and South Carolina-Clemson. But the OSU hatred is real, and it reminds me a lot of the Clemson-South Carolina, honestly, in that state. It is a big deal. You see Oklahoma State fans and stuff everywhere in my neighborhood and on car stickers, and great program. And I think Oklahoma, where they're at right now with Mateer and the way he's playing, they got a chance to have a great season. Oklahoma State, I guarantee you Coach Gundy will figure it out. He does an awesome job, and their staff does a good job. So I've been impressed with the state of Oklahoma. High school football is ridiculously good, particularly the 5 major programs here in Tulsa. But no, I had no idea the deep roots of the rivalry and of these 2 programs and how good they've been. You don't think about it until you move out this way, and it's just like, man, these guys have been winning 10 games for a long, long, long time.
How does the culture of football here compare to the Southeast, where you're more familiar with?
Extremely similar. I wouldn't say it's hardly different at all. High school stadiums are filled every Friday night. You go tailgate and you go to a game on Saturday, and Sunday, you watch the Chiefs or the Cowboys. So it's not a whole lot different at all. Very, very rich tradition on both schools. And then, I think Tulsa has its fair share of rich tradition as well. Some great teams through here.
Have you had a stern conversation with the person who scheduled your biggest in-state rival 6 days after you played your conference opener?
I'm fine with it. Anytime you can play on the major networks, I'm going to say yes and ask to do that, to get our brand out there, and an opportunity for our players to play on a national stage. It's big for recruiting. If we had to play every Friday night to get on ESPN, I would do it. If we had to play on Wednesday night to get on ESPN, I would do it. I want to play in front of as many people as we can play in front of. I want to put our product out there. I believe in our product. I believe in what we're doing, and I want the world to see it. And I'm excited to see that this Friday.
Now, having been here, how do you view the Tulsa-Oklahoma State series, and what do you think about Oklahoma State having a long-term home-and-home deal kind of in this era of college football?
I think it's great. I mean, I would love to do it every year. I'd love to play Oklahoma. I think it's great for the state. I really do. It's great for our program. It's great for the brand. It's funny, some of these teams are flying halfway across the country to play these non-conference games against Power 4 opponents. Like, we got 2 in our backyard. It makes a lot of sense for us to be able to drive, save money, not take a flight, play in front of people that care about our team. We got a lot of kids from Oklahoma that probably weren't recruited by Oklahoma State, and this would be a big game for them. And I wish we could do it more. I would love to play them every year.
Now, given your role in FCS and now at Tulsa, going forward, what would be your philosophy in building a non-conference schedule?
Yeah, I like the way we're doing it. I think you play, one at home, one on the road at the Power 4 level, and then you play a very common opponent that's within driving distance, like a Missouri State or, a G5 Sam Houston State we're playing next year. I think makes a lot of sense. And then you play an FCS team. So, you're looking at, you play good, you should be 2-2, and then you can hopefully upset a big boy or power four when you catch a good team and have a good team. So I like the way it's set up right now. Eight conference games and then two power four, one at home, one away, one group of 5, and one FCS.
Dominic Richardson obviously started his career at Oklahoma State, had kind of a long winding path back here to Oklahoma. What's he meant to you guys so far this season?
Yeah, he's been a workhorse for us. We're going to try to get him 20 carries Friday night. Like, he is right now, he's the bell cow of our offense. Him and Booker are kind of carrying a lot of the weight. We got to distribute the ball better on the perimeter and downfield, but I have all the confidence in the world right now in our running game, and it's, a lot of it's because of Dom.
And then Braylon Presley, another guy. Like, how's he fitting in so far? I know he's a guy that's moved around quite a bit.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's a gadget guy. We're trying to get him 6 to 10 touches a game in space, in the box. So we've got a plan for him this week. I know how big this is for him, and, his brother's playing there and their family going back to Stillwater, and this is going to be a big game for him, and I'm excited to watch him play.
Coach, post-game, Baylor, we'll ask you about him in a moment, but Baylor tried to take a lot of that blame himself. You're a former quarterback. You know how that goes as quarterbacks. What do you say to a guy who looked like, his eyes, he took it very, very seriously, as you would expect, but how do you kind of get him past that?
Yeah, he could have played better in the second half. There's no doubt about it. I thought he got off to a hot start, and he missed some wide-open guys. You go back and watch the tape, man. We had a corner fall down on a 3rd and 10, and we didn't find it. We had a hole shot to Booker that probably would have got us back in the game. It was an 11-point game at that point, and, he may score. If at worst we get a field goal right there in the red zone, we're back to a one-score game. So he missed some stuff that I thought he could have hit. But, it's just like I'm the head coach. He's the quarterback that started the game. Like, you're going to get the blame, period. And you better know what you're signing up for, and you better be able to take it in the media and take it in front of the team and take ownership, because it's going to fall on your shoulders. And unfortunately, when we win a game, he gets all the credit. The quarterback gets all the credit. But it's just what you sign up for. Toughest position in all of sports. And I thought he played well in the first half, and he's got to play better in the second half.
Is that the advice you gave him? It just comes with the job?
Yeah. We talk about it all the time as quarterbacks. You're prepared for it. We're gonna get the brunt of the bad conversations, which is fine.
Todd Grantham, 30-plus years coaching, seen everything that you could throw at him. Is he still doing more of what he's always done? Is it the one gap 3-4 type stuff that you see? Is that what you've seen on film so far?
No, he's playing more 4 down this year. I think some of that's because of what Coach Gundy said. We're going to simplify a little bit. Coach Grantham worked with my granddad at University of Georgia for 5 seasons as a defensive coordinator. Very familiar with Coach. He's an awesome D-line coach, really good coordinator. He's done it for a long time at great programs, Louisville, Florida, Georgia, NFL, Saints. Just does a great job. You can tell they're very intentional about their front. Their D linemen are impressive. I think he coaches with great technique, and that's kind of his baby. And those guys do an awesome job up front.
Are they still doing a lot of the twists and movement up front?
Yeah, they're not gonna sit still. I don't imagine they'll sit still against us. There's a lot of movement. He's not afraid to blitz. Traditionally, they're not blitzing quite as much this year as they have been, but he likes to bring it from everywhere. He used to play like the crazy halves, 2 invert from several different places, which is really hard on a quarterback in the offense. I'm sure we'll see some of that. We've actually gone back and looked at some Florida tape and some Georgia tape and kind of stuff he's done over the years, because we really only have 2 games, and we wanted to watch a little more cut-ups and more formations. So we'll see. I think he'll attack us in the interior, of our offensive line. I think we know that. Their edge guys are really good. I could see them playing some man this week and pressing our outside guys and daring us to throw the ball down the field. So we got a plan. I think he does an awesome job, and it's going to be a tough task.
What is kind of your history with Meacham's version of the various forms of offense that he runs, and your take on that? Yeah,
he does a nice job. They go with tempo. I know they got a new quarterback, kind of like we had last week, kind of inexperienced, a good athlete. So they're trying to find their way with him of what he's good at, and you can tell they're grabbing at a few things and seeing where he's at. But Coach has done an awesome job for a long time. He's a great offensive mind. He runs the air raid traditionally, and there's a little more tight end usage this year and running the ball. I do think their running backs are good. They got 5 of them, listed on the depth chart. They got speed outside. Terrell Davis is a guy we official visited here in the transfer portal and ended up choosing Oklahoma State over us. And he's probably their best receiver. And then they got some guys that can run. So, yeah, I have no doubt that Coach is going to get it turned around, and he's going to figure it out. He didn't just forget how to coach the last 11 games. He's Coach Gundy's going to figure it out. Like he's a smart guy, and they'll be fine. And they're trying to catch their footing right now, a lot like we are. I just hope they don't catch it Friday night.
Trey, when you came here and saw that you were locked into a long-term relationship with OSU, was it a positive reaction?
Absolutely.
You like it?
Yeah, extremely excited for that. I think it's great for the state, great for the high school football here, great for our program, great for our university, huge for our current players. I mean, 35, 40 guys on our roster, 31 maybe from Oklahoma. Big game for them. A lot of guys transferred from there. A lot of guys didn't get recruited by them. They'll be playing with a little chip on their shoulder.
So 20 years ago or so, there was a strong movement in Stillwater to not play you guys anymore. You said, we don't see the value in it. Well, later on, common sense prevailed and realized both sides, it's a win-win. So, but the value for you of every other year for the next foreseeable future, getting them to come over here.
Yeah, value's huge. Again, I would love to play them in Oklahoma. I want to play as close to home as possible for travel purposes, but also for our players. I mean, I think when you're playing common opponents, like going out to New Mexico State, we didn't know any of their players, their coaches, never been there. None of our players have been there. Coaches never been. That's a tough road game. Like, I'd much rather play somebody, like, closer to home, like in Oklahoma State. And, look, 20 years ago, Tulsa was rolling, and the last few years, Tulsa hadn't been what they were traditionally. It's my job to get that back, but that's probably why they didn't want to play them. There was much larger chance to get beat. I mean, now, what Oklahoma State's done the last 10, 15 years under Coach Gundy and the direction Tulsa's gone is going in different directions. And we got to get that back to where it's a closer matchup.
Are you familiar with the sidelines and how tight they are?
Oh, yeah. The paddles on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the front row of fans can almost reach out and touch
Oh, yeah.
your guys' helmets.
Yeah, it's going to be we're going to prepare for it. We've got Todd Darlington, our tight ends coach, played at OU, started at center there for 4 years, and he's actually got some music to pump through the loudspeakers of the banging of the paddles that they used at OU. So we're going to use that this week for crowd noise.
You're talking about the quarterback position. Anything new on Kirk?
Yeah, I'm hoping he practices tomorrow. I think he'll be a little limited tomorrow, but I could foresee him being ready by Saturday. We hope. He's still in protocol, but he's on his last test where he has to do a fatigue test in practice. And then if he goes in there after practice on Tuesday and there's no new symptoms and he passes his baseline from what we evaluated him in the preseason, like we do every player, if he passes the baseline on Tuesday after exertion, he will be free to play. The plan is for me to practice both guys and see who has the best week of practice. Like, I'm truly, honestly mean that. Like, if you ask me today, I have no clue who we're going to start. I'm going to reward the reps to the guy that moves the ball in practice. Baylor obviously gives you a little bit of a dynamic with his legs, but Kurt gives you the experience and probably a little more accuracy in the passing game. So we're going to play both on Tuesday. Whoever moves the ball the most will get the most reps on Wednesday, and then we'll decide on a starter probably Thursday in the walkthrough.
You would play both if they're both available.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially.
Coach, on road trips, you generally get into a rhythm. You practice till Friday. You get on a plane. You go someplace. You play on Saturday. But this is a road trip that's different. You got a bus ride, and it's a day earlier. So it's a little different prep, isn't it?
Yeah, you lose a day of preparation, which I'm not excited that they're coming off an off week. But you really lost yesterday, right? To be honest, because that's the day you normally would be game planning. But we spent that day cleaning up Navy. We moved on last night to Oklahoma State, trying to put a plan together this morning. We're already working on third down red zone this afternoon as a staff. So tomorrow we're going to try to practice for a little longer and try to hit situations and first and second down. Wednesday, run through Thursday walkthrough, and then we'll stay at the hotel here in town and drive over to 2:45 with a police escort on Friday afternoon.